So the topic here is understanding going past comfort zones in inner work. Okay, this is an interesting topic. The last series of videos that I've created have really tried to make it clear that the tone for somebody who wants to go into like an advanced spiritual practice or advanced personal development, advanced inner growth, is one that's not going to have the most, kind of touchy, well, I don't want to say touchy-feely, but more that kind of feel-good. That's more what I'm looking for, the term. It's not always going to have such a feel-good type of approach, because you're going past comfort zones. You're overcoming things that have been blocks. There's fears. There's particularly the fear of the unknown, or fear of rejection, or releasing things where here you're safe. You feel safe. You're in a comfort zone, not making change, right? You are in your comfort zone, being, doing your routine, staying in the familiar. Okay, and if you want to make dramatic, especially if you want to make dramatic, quick changes. Okay, let's be really clear about that. Especially if you want to make dramatic, quick changes, you have to be prepared to go past, kind of a threshold of discomfort. Okay, and to focus on the stuff that you want and do all the stuff that I talk about in other videos with the focusing techniques. And it comes down to, in one form or the other, a kind of focusing technique, okay, which I explain more in some of the last videos I've done. So when you're doing that, especially when you really stretch yourself, you are not many times going to be inspired to want to do it. You're not going to want to, push past your comfort zone. Some of the stuff where I talk about, affirming something with emotion, and sometimes even putting volume into it, and visualizing it, and all that kind of stuff. That's going out of your comfort zone. That's not always going to be that comfortable. It's not that different from like an athlete who loves his sport, but is kind of tired and sore and has a bit of pressure. That athlete is not like totally inspired to play. Like in the kind of new age movement, there's this notion that in order to grow spiritually, it has to feel good, and it has to just always be easy and have that nice little easy grace to it all the time. Now, a lot of times it will. A lot of times it will, especially when you start getting more and more advanced. You function from more poise. But in that rebuilding process, a lot of it is not so pretty. Okay? And that's what people need to understand, especially if they want to make quick changes. You have to be prepared to go past comfort zones, to be a bit uncomfortable, to be a little bit, off center, while you're trying to really, make these changes. And you cannot rely totally on inspiration. Okay? If you want to make the changes quickly. You can get better and better at focusing on the benefits of what it is that this is going to bring you, and that you can learn how to, in other words, generate inspiration by understanding how to direct your mind. But it's still not likely always going to be there, especially in the beginning. So don't rely too much on inspiration. Don't overly rely on that. You have to kind of like realize that there's going to be a little bit of a ritual that you're going to set well, call it what you will, ritual or a discipline or a daily process. It all means the same thing, and that you're going to commit to doing it, doing the focusing work. Even if you kind of don't feel like it, even if it feels weird, especially if it feels weird, you're just going to commit to doing it and putting a little bit of determination and some like passion behind it, because that is what's going to make those big shifts happen. Okay, is doing that stuff that feels a little bit uncomfortable. And it's so important to learn that, because otherwise you're never going to cross over that threshold. And when you're making changes, and you're going through that, it's like there is that sometimes that like uncomfortable kind of awkward feeling, when you're doing it. You maybe only want to think of, like, let's say if you're choosing like an affirmation or something, you maybe only want to do it 6 or 7 times or something. Maybe, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And I'm suggesting, if you want to make a quick change, maybe even thousands of times. So that is not something that people are necessarily inspired to want to do. So that's what needs to happen. if you want to see changes that are quick, if you want to make those breakthroughs that where you go to a whole new level, and people are even look around you and are blown away, and they're like, who is this person? This person is not the person I knew even like 3 weeks ago. Like, where's all this coming from? All this extra confidence and this achievement and this extra poise. Well, if you want to be somebody like that, you have to be prepared to go through the process that I'm talking about, and not just the kind of easy, feel-good stuff and think that it's going to just magically always wash over you because you listen to another audio book or something like that. Okay? So that's, the idea is you got to be prepared to push past comfort zones even with this inner work. Okay?